Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Let's start off with Sasha, because it's Sasha, it's Cyrus, it's Dingbat Gladys. It's a whole trio of people. Gladys is a moron. Okay, Gladys is an absolute moron. This woman. First of all, she walks up to Cyrus and she practically announces, and she doesn't do it on purpose. This is just how stupid she is. Okay, she walks over and she's all like, "Oh, I heard you're going to be a father." And Cyrus is like, "What the hell are you talking about?" So after some confusion a little bit, Glass was like, "Oh, well, I heard from, that woman Lucy." And I was like, "So you just heard secondhand information, you just walked up to him with that?" But then this idiot then this idiot starts talking about business, as far as, "Oh, well, I was the person that helped you take down Jason Morgan. I lied to the police for you." You can't make this up. You can't make this up. When she said that, I was like, so this chick wants a bullet in her head, right? That's what she wants, right? And even Cyrus is like, why would you say that so loud for? We're in public. What's the matter with you? And Gladys is like, what? What's wrong with me since Smith saying that? I can't with this one. I can't. This one is just, oh. You know, if she just happens to, let's say, fall and, like, breaks her leg or something, I mean, things do happen. I mean, I don't understand how this woman is just this stupid. And her son has been warning her from the get-go. And now she's just, "Oh, that time that we did that crime together. So after she shoots off her mouth, some point, Brandon's not there talking to Sasha. And Sasha's all like, "Oh, well, you're bothering me." And this is when Carly walks in, but she was just walking. She walks in, with her two muscles or whatever. Just looking like a boss. And I'm not gonna lie, I actually kind of like that look. But yeah, she walks in and, there's this big commotion a little bit. And, Sasha's all like, "Oh, well, Brandon's bothering me." Sasha, what the hell is wrong with you? So, Brando leaves. At some point, Sasha goes in the bathroom and she tells Carly that, she's pregnant with Brando's child and, she hasn't really been with anyone else since. So that kind of just leaves out my whole theory about Michael. Unless that did happen, that's still be on the table, but yeah, she sits there and says that, she's been with Brando and that, he's the father of the child. And Carly's like, "Yeah, I think you should keep it a secret." And at first, I'm like, what the I put down the controls like, "Sweetheart, you better have a damn good reason for why you're doing this." But she's like, "Yo, listen, Cyrus has a vested interest in you, and, he's an older man, and you're considered to be his trophy. And if he finds out that Brando is Brando's that child's father, it's not going to be good for him. So to keep him safe, we'll just make up a story." And once she said that, I was like, okay, all right, I'm back on board with you, Carly. For a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, you kind of had me going, but managed to put it back on track. So good for you. Meanwhile, at some point, Cyrus walks up, and Cyrus is all like, this whole thing is not really working out. I mean, you haven't really done anything for me. I mean, you didn't get back my mother. It's all a bunch of other things. I mean, I need you to prove yourself. And at some point, he says that, Sasha's pregnant. And that, he wants Brandon to find out who's the father of that child, so that way they can have a man-to-man discussion. Because apparently, now he's obsessed with her. When did, at some point, did he get obsessed with her? Yeah, I mean, you know, she looked pretty and everything like that. And he spent time with her, but he never came across as the obsessive type. Peter, on the other hand, is entirely different, but he never came across as the obsessive type. But now he's all like, oh, I want to have a chat with this man, you know, man to man. What? Now, Brett, at this point, is like, oh, she's pregnant. Okay, maybe that's why she's been acting all weird and everything like that. So, he probably already knows that, you know, he knows, I'm assuming he knows that he's the father of, you know, Sasha's child. So, we're gonna find out. Of course, Gladys walks up to Carly, is all like, oh, you know, she starts talking to her and everything like that. Carly's like, yo, listen, I want no parts of you. You know, Sonny's gone. We don't have to pretend that we're cousins and stuff like that. Like, we don't have to pretend we're family. And of course, you know, she brings up the fact that, oh, well, I kept your secret. It's like, sweetheart, you're just asking for a bullet from one of those two people. You're asking for it. You're pretty much begging for it at this point. Damn, this woman's an idiot. And the sad thing is that, you know, I can get behind an idiot to some extent, but this woman is an idiot to, like, she just doesn't even care about her own son. So there's that. Let's talk about, Sonny and his side quests. Or you know, I'll tell you if I was trying to come up with a joke. Sonny's side story. So Nina got caught in, Elijah's office. Now, she plays up the fact that, oh, I dropped my earring, and then, you know, it's a good thing that you left the door open. You know, otherwise, you know, I wouldn't be able to find my earring, and, yeah, that's why I'm here. Now, he's on the phone, she's on the phone with Sonny, and Sonny overhears, and he's like, I told you to get out of there, so now he picks up the gun, he's about to go over there, which is kind of odd, because Nina does eventually get back, but it was like, what was you doing the whole time? Anyway, she makes it some, you know, she makes up the story. Apparently, Elijah's like, oh, okay, alright, well, I understand why you're in this office now. And she's all like, you know, when she finished explaining to her, she's like, alright, well, Phyllis is, you know, waiting for me, so I'm gonna go, bye. And she leaves, and Elijah, man, this actor, the way he pulls off expressions, let me tell you, he went from confused to, like, just straight up villain mode, like, straight up evil mode, like, I can't even do that, I can't even pull off that facial expression, but that man did it perfectly, and I was like, okay, so yeah, he definitely knows that you are a terrible liar. Oh my goodness, you are a terrible liar. So he goes back on the computer, and he realized that, you know, she's been going through the files and stuff like that. Meanwhile, Nina is practically patting herself on the back, giving her, you know, just victory laps, pretty much. She's all like, oh, I was fine, and Sonny, I had this all under control. There was no need for you to, you know, for you to try to bail me out with your gun and all this other stuff like that. I had him. Yeah, Nina, you really had him. You, it's amazing, too, because it's like she really thought she was being so smart, and she's really not, and it's just like, so, you know, Nina and Sonny are going through the papers and everything like that, and realizing there's some shady stuff. Now they're going to be tracking down a lead at some strip mall or whatever. Meanwhile, Elijah's on the phone. He's like, yeah, you know, she was going through the files. I don't know which stuff she went through, but I think at this point she knows too much, and, yeah, I'm going to sit there and take care of both of them. And, of course, Nina suggests that Sonny doesn't bring his gun, which clearly would have came in handy, but, you know, for plot reasons and the fact that, well, everyone loves Sonny, he's not actually going to get killed off. Let's just put it that way. Unless he wants to actually be killed off, then that's something entirely different, but, yeah. Oh, Nina. She was really patting herself on the back, talking about, oh, I went through stuff like this before when I first took over Crimson, and, you know, I know this, that, and the third. It's like, you know a lot, don't you, Nina? You really... You know, the thing is, okay, yes, I don't like Nina, but when she does things like this, it's like I gotta call her out on it. Listen, if she does something that was really smart and positive, I'll sit there and say that too. I'll talk it up, despite the fact that I do not like this woman. I will talk up her accomplishments. What do we got? So Valentine pretty much like, yeah, me, Charlotte, and the other guy that I should probably fire, we're gonna move in here. We're gonna make sure that you're gonna be okay. And of course, Brooklyn is like, Michael, like she calls Michael like she's tattletaling or whatever. So she gets Michael, Monica in there, and she tells about the whole plan that Valentine wants to move in. And Monica's like, yeah, that's a good idea. I'm sorry, what? And long story short, Brooklyn agrees to, have Valentine stay there. And there's a part of her that feels kind of guilty because, Valentine's like, listen, I get we got differences, but this isn't about us, it's about the child. So he's really showing investment in this fake baby. So she's feeling kind of guilty a little bit. Now, the real reason was the fact that, listen, just in case he double-crosses us, I want him near. I don't want him at a far, I want him near. So while he's watching Brooklyn, we're watching him. And Michael agrees. Again, I was gonna sit there and say like Michael's presence was somewhat pointless, but I guess he just served at some point. I guess I don't really know what, but he was there, so he got paid. So there's that. Now the Dr. Navarro pretty much wants to deliver Maxie's baby now. But Maxie's like, yeah, we don't got arrangements ready, we don't got a crib ready. Nah, we good. We gonna do it next week. And at first, the doctor's like, no, I think you should do it now because of the blood pressure, this, that, and the third. And Peter's like, yeah, she says she wants to do it next week. I'm gonna back her, so we're doing it next week. That's just how that's gonna work. Even Peter kind of pointed out, it's like, yo, she was being kind of pushy. Like, what's her deal? Now, granted, Max is like, she's just doing it in the best interest of the child, yada, yada, yada. And maybe we could just chalk it up to that. But, it gives her more time for whatever plan that she's thinking of. Now, of course, Anna has this plan that doesn't pan out, let's just be honest. She has a plan to try to find some doctors so she can get something. But then when she's talking to Maxie, and she gets on the phone, she's like, hey, before she gets on the phone, she's like, listen, I got a place for you to hide, and I got a doctor working on stuff, so we're gonna figure this out. She gets a call, and apparently, I don't know if Maxie or her knew these people, but pretty much the dad passed away. I have a feeling it was Peter involved. I mean, at this point, I blame Peter on pretty much global warming. But, yeah, it's the whole plan. I mean, Anna's plan just does not pan out, which does not really surprise anyone. They hug, and I'm assuming that Max is going to go with her original plan. So, that's cool. It looks like she's forgiven Anna for the most part. I mean, at this point, I really feel like she does need to forgive her. Simply for the fact that Maxie has screwed up so many times. Like, I get Maxie's anger, but I'm glad that they kind of working things out, because it's like, alright, you held a grudge for a little bit, and I get that. But after a while, it's like, come on, you kind of did this to yourself too, so. Now, let's get to more minor scenes. Oh, by the way, Peter's still planning on kidnapping Maxie, spearheading her somewhere. He was not there after the whole visit. He was talking to Nurse Chloe on the phone. I think that's still her name. And he was like, yeah, the plan is still on to sit there and spearhead her out the country, apparently. So, that's going to be happening, and that should be interesting. There were some minor scenes with Liz as far as Peter sending reporters to her house. Her talking to Fenn, which Fenn is nowhere closer to finding a cure. And of course, Liz... Okay, so Liz there was one point she was sitting there talking to Finn about Cameron, how he almost threw his life away, and he almost wound up throwing his life away, yada yada yada. Now, I guess I just kind of found that a little bit funny to some extent, because she talked about how, one second. Yeah, she was talking about Peter and stuff like that, about how he almost threw his life away and yada yada yada. And I honestly tell you the truth, I'm not gonna even bring it up. I was sitting there thinking about it, and I was like, no, we already talked about that before. We had that talk. And apparently she really did not understand the gravity of the situation as far as her son and what could have happened if he was a different race. But besides that, nothing else really happened. I mean, Liz kind of, vented to Peter about the reporters, and not gonna lie, Finn didn't really do much of anything in this episode. I can't think of one thing that he actually did that was like totally relevant. Not even gonna lie. Not gonna lie, I don't feel like I'm leaving something out. I think because Finn and Liz's portion of it was just so non-important, to be honest. It's like they didn't really contribute too much of anything to this episode. They were just there, and yeah, I understand they're there for contract purposes, but it's like I felt like they were just there just to run out the clock, and it was like, all right, cool. I'm glad y'all made it to do absolutely nothing. Awesome. And with that being said, I think that's about it. If I left anything out, please write it down in the comment section below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Also in the comment section below, just about this whole episode. I will see you in the next video.